Well, we are live here with Coffee with Humans with my new friend, Kendra. Kendra, welcome to Coffee with Humans.
Thank you so much, Jason. I'm so happy to be here.
So this little dirty secret is we talked once before, like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we talked about growing businesses at the time, if I recall, right?
Yes.
Something like that.
A lot of things.
You know,
we talked about a lot of things during that conversation.
We did, and that was really it was an uplifting conversation. I walked away from that thinking I feel better. So I'm excited. I'm excited to talk with you. I think it's fantastic that you scheduled and you waited so long to be on Coffee with Humans. I know it books out like 3 months in advance, which is challenging. And I appreciate anybody who would stick around that long to be on this show. So thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you. You're kind of a big deal. So
I'm kind of a big deal. So my question, and I prepped you for this. This is a dialogue, not a monologue. Most of the time I meet people about 8 minutes before we go live, which would be roughly 10 minutes ago. And we talk about nothing. So we've saved the best meat of this conversation for you and me for today. I'm sure of it. But I'm curious, what inspired you to click the button to have coffee with me?
I love people. And I really do like to talk. I think, honestly, I believe there was something in your description that was like, no sales calls, like no sales talk. And I was like, thank you, Lord. Like, honestly, like as much as, of course, as a business person, I want to sell things and that kind of thing. It's like, it is so refreshing to not have to sell and push and pitch and be so polished and so put together. It's nice just to have conversation. So that's why.
That's interesting. A lot of that's a consistent theme, I think, with a lot of people who come on Coffee with Humans. They're just like, hey, we can just talk about anything. And sometimes I've walked away having no clue what this person does from a professional standpoint. And it doesn't matter in many cases.
Yeah.
They could be running a small country and I wouldn't know in some cases.
They're the Princess of Munda and you didn't know. Like, it could be anything, literally.
Well, you're not running a small country, but I do know that you're a business consultant.
Yeah.
And branding and all that type of stuff, which is super cool. I think that's fantastic.
Could be running a small country, honestly. Yeah. So many clients all over the world. I'm always tired. I'm tired now, but got my little pick me up today. I don't drink coffee, but I was like, if I'm gonna be on Coffee with Humans, girl, you better go get some coffee. So
you got to bring something. I brought my new Coffee with Humans coffee mug, but because it's the afternoon, I have original Fresca in it, not coffee, because I can't do I have to meter in the caffeine. If I have too much caffeine, I'm already kind of, I think, probably a difficult person to live with, but I become difficult for myself. Now I don't even like myself. And so I have to really be careful on caffeine. So I give up caffeine probably 11 a.m., maybe something like that. After that, it's either going to be decaf or it's going to be something else. But I had to be on brand with.
I love that for you. I don't really drink coffee. I used to be like addicted to coffee, and like caffeine is really bad for women, apparently, like for like reproductive health and this, that, and the third. So I was like, okay, let me cut back on caffeine. And then like every once in a while, like, because I don't really sleep, I'm like, you're not going to be able to make it if you don't drink something. Today just happened to be one of those days. I was literally up until like 6 o'clock in the morning, and then I had to get up at 9. And I kind of slept through an alarm. It was an interesting morning. So I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and order this coffee anyway. And so I drank it. So now I'm concerned I'm going to be up all night again. But, but I'm here.
That's the risk, for sure. People come to these realizations at different times. I mean, you came to your realization that you have to meter in the caffeine. I came into it a long time ago. What was it, like 12, 15 years ago, something like that. And I had some people in an office, and boy, I just realized I was like downing pots. I felt like it was pots of coffee, and I would walk out and be like, talk to people. And finally I was just like, wow, this is like, I'm anxious. I just feel anxious inside. And so I would lock myself in my office, and I would not locked, but I would close the door, right? And I always felt bad doing that because I felt like, well, now I'm not approachable. But it's like, but no one wants to approach me. And so I tell them, hey, just heads up, I've had tons of coffee, so I'm gonna be behind this door. So if you come in and feel a little punchy, it's not you, it's me. And that's this door, this isolation chamber that I'm putting myself into is important for both of us. So I think people got it then, and then I started realizing I like this energy level is amped up too high. Pull it back, move to decaf. But I'm a coffee aficionado. I love coffee. I love all the ways making coffee, and I'm not addicted to it because I can cut it out. But yeah, I don't know. It's a thing.
I feel like
This side of America is coffee drinker. So
I felt like we were going into a therapy session where you were explaining to me how you're not addicted. And I was like, coffee addict. Got it. Understand. Like, yeah. Tell me more about how you're not addicted to coffee.
hey, don't pick me apart, Kendra. This is not the time.
It's a dialogue.
It's true. You said, hey, what we talking about? And we're like, anything you want. And that's a common theme here on Coffee with Humans. Anything you want. What do you want to talk about? So what's a big topic that's been on your mind recently? The topic that I titled this thing based on your very brief feedback was authenticity cannot be automated, which it's like, okay, what's that mean? We're sitting in your space. And is that even on your mind anymore, really? I mean, I know that today's been a day, and this has been a week, and this has been a past year.
It's not the top of mind, but I can explain why that's a thing. It's always it's a recurring theme in my life. Whether I'm dealing with clients or just think about my own social media, like I'm very consistent. I make 3 posts a week. You're going to get these 3 posts on Instagram. You're going to get me in stories every single day. And people will ask me, like in classes, like, well, how do you come up with, content? And I'm trying to turn out all this content, and I'm in this scheduling app doing this and doing that. And I was like, authenticity can't be automated. You have to be real and be in the moment. I was having a conversation, maybe 2 or 3 days ago with the mentee about storytelling and captions. And she was like, how are you always able to tell stories and captions and like get people to engage with you? I said, because it's real. I'm telling you real stories that happened to me last week. Okay. I'm telling you really what's going on in my life and tying it to some kind of business theme. And so you can't be real with your audience and make it automated. You need to be real and be in the moment. You need to be present in order to really serve your people the best. So, I mean, that's kind of where that comes from.
Okay. So this stories thing, you say you do an Instagram story every day?
Yeah, I post an Instagram stories every single day. Not a story, like multiple stories.
Multiple stories. Okay. So think of me as in social media kindergartner.
Okay.
So I'm just here having a good time.
Okay.
Playing with my blocks.
Okay.
So what is this Instagram stories thing? And then how do you use this daily?
Okay, so the difference between an Instagram feed and an Instagram story. A story is something that only lasts for 24 hours.
Okay.
Each little story segment is 15 seconds long. You can make as many of them as you want. And I normally encourage people to post like what's happening in their day there. If they're a person who sells, they should sell there every single day. You need to be present in those stories. You need to be on the top of people's minds every single day. And whatever you're posting needs to live for 24 hours and go away. In your feed, which is what people normally see when they click on your actual account, the little grid, those things normally last longer. I mean, they don't last forever. You can always get rid of them, but they last longer. And if someone's doing research on you, 9 times out of 10, they will see what's there. So like doing research on you. I know you got, a daughter. It's like, I know that, I've seen things of your life. I've seen elements of your life. But in your stories, I may see you like, oh, hey, I'm here with Kendra today. And I'm like, woo, coffee with humans. And then you post that. And then after that, you may get on there and say, I just had a great talk with Kendra. She's amazing. You should go follow her. This is what we talked about, yada, yada, yada. And then later on, maybe I see you making dinner or going to grab dinner, whatever the case may be, that kind of thing. So it's a short thing that only lasts 24 hours. It's not necessarily like your full encompassed self, but it's like it allows a person to get to know you in a real authentic way.
Okay. So if I were to post, let's say something like this on that. So this was breakfast that I made at one point in time. It was potatoes that my daughter had made, and then I refried them up with some eggs. Is that something that I would post on a story?
So I have a question before I can answer that. The question is, what do you want your audience who is looking at your brand to know about you?
Oh, that's a great question.
Because if you want them to know that you are a human who eats and who, you know, thinks that they're taking these fire photos of their breakfast, you know, and they want to talk about the fact that their daughter made potatoes, then sure. If you just want to share that you had a breakfast that you were really happy about, you put it in your stories. But if you want them to know, like, hey, I'm the breakfast man.
Okay, so if here's another one. Here's another picture I took. So this is a Hawaiian roll with an egg and cheddar cheese, bacon, and coffee. And here was my thought with it. First of all, I really like to cook. I experiment with cooking all the time, and I thought, you know, with this coffee with humans thing, one of the things I was thinking of was, how do I make this more fun? Because, you know, I'm like, is it fun? I don't know. And so I thought, well, what I could do is I could take these videos and photos, and I could be like, hey, here's a thing you could make. Like, here's some food that you could make while you have your coffee, or just here's some food that you could make. And it would be short little clips, and sandwich it down into video, kind of like a commercial. And it just like my gift to the world. Here's a Hawaiian roll with an egg and cheddar cheese and how I made it.
Stories.
Because,
yeah. Unless you're going to tell some compelling story. And your whole page is becoming this thing where you're basically like a food blogger now. Like, what's the purpose of your page? If your purpose of your page is to be a food blogger, then yeah, you know, you click a recipe on Pinterest and then you read a person's life story. Well, back when I was a child growing up in the Appalachian Mountains, blah, blah, blah. It's like, get me to the recipe, okay? That is what you would be doing, basically, is having to tell some kind of story and then show them how it's made and get them there and give them a recipe. But if that's not the premise of your page, then you can post that in your stories.
Yeah, which so the Instagram post is something that you do to that is less transient. It's something you want to stick around and go far. It's the story which makes you human. It connects you to, here's the thing behind the scenes of everyday life, and then life is gone, it moved on, and now tomorrow's a new day.
That's a great kindergarten synopsis. Excellent. If you want somebody to see the behind the scenes of your life, put it in stories. If you want someone to understand your brand, put it on your feed.
Why are you so okay with having everybody know what's going on in your life?
I'm not okay with everyone knowing everything that's going on in my life. So everyone doesn't know everything that's going on in my life. But I have a gift of making people think that they know everything that's going on in my life.
Right.
It's a gift. I've been perfecting it for years.
Yeah?
Yeah. There's so many people who don't even know, like, I'm in a relationship, let alone engaged. Like, this might be the first time somebody's hearing Kendra's engaged. Like, I didn't even know. Yeah. I don't post. I mean, if you look hard enough, there's maybe 1 or 2 pictures of me with a ring on, but that could just be decoration. I don't post my man. I don't post my family. I don't talk about it. Like, it's none of your business. So whatever I choose to keep private, I keep private. Whatever I want to share, I share. So I'm not one of those people who's like, oh my gosh, I just got lip fillers, which I don't get lip fillers. Thank God, you know, I'm a Black woman, I got lips. So, you know, it's like, I'm not out here getting lip fillers. But if I were, I'm not going to be like, you guys, look at me. Like, I'm not Kim Kardashian. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to show you every facet of my life. I'm going to show you what I want you to know. And even the behind the scenes stuff is only what I want you to know. Like today, I posted in my stories, I dropped my iPad. And so on my stories with my audience, I was like, let's go see if it's cracked. And I flipped it over and it was, and I was like, thank you, Jesus. Whew. And that was like with the audience. So my DMs have been on fire all morning, people laughing, people being like with me, because they're living behind the scenes with me. Now, they don't have to know that, you know, whoever else was here and they're the ones who knocked it over. It doesn't matter.
Does it? Should throw a button next time.
It doesn't matter who did it. The point is that it happened.
Gotcha. So how do you link all this to authenticity?
That's my real self. Like, my real self was freaking out. When the iPad fell, I was just like, my heart stopped. My heart literally stopped. My life's work is, I mean, granted, it's all in the cloud, but like my life's work is on this iPad. And I was just like, I'm getting ready to go somewhere tomorrow. I really needed this iPad. Do I have time? Like, all these thoughts were coming to me. Do I have time to go to the Apple store and get another one? Do I try to get it repaired? What do I do? And it was like, girl, you are tripping with yourself. Go over there and see if it's even cracked.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go with the audience because this is something, it's relatable. Everyone has dropped their phone, dropped something where they're like, did the screen crack? Immediately, you just go straight to horror. Did the screen crack? So that's authentic. It's authentic for me, but it's relatable for you. So it resonates with you because it's a real life experience that you've had.
Mm-hmm.
Or will have.
Yeah. I just assume that nobody cares.
Well, you know, people care. If they want to know you, they care. Like, that's the other thing. I think a lot of my followers think that they know me because I do share a lot. I mean, I'm not in here sharing, like, I wouldn't be sharing the birth of a child if I were pregnant, you know, I'm not doing that. Like the actual labor and delivery, you know, but there are people who do. There are people who share very intimate details of their lives. But for me, you know, it's like, I know that sharing real parts of my life that anyone else can relate to makes them feel closer to me. And I want to gain people's trust. That's what you want to do. You want to gain people's trust. You want people to trust you. And the best way to do it is to be relatable. Being relatable means you have to be real and authentic. So. Interesting.
And you do this stuff for clients. I know that.
Yeah, I do this stuff for clients.
Yeah,
for real. Not just social media, but anywhere that their brand is in general. If it's an endorsement deal, if it's television, if it's, you know, a television commercial, if it's a Netflix show, if it's a YouTube original, if it's a whatever. I'm the person who sits in the room. I mean, I literally just got off of a YouTube original call before I came in here. I have a client who's doing a YouTube original, and they were meeting with the showrunner. We've been meeting with the showrunner for about 2 weeks. And tomorrow we have to present like the final show Bible back to YouTube. And they're all in there, you know, the client's in there, the showrunner's in there. They're all, oh, this is great. And I go, pause. How are you going to do an episode with the chicken coop and eggs and y'all don't eat eggs? It's not real. Like, I'm going to ask those questions. I'm going to say, okay, from the audience perspective, if you do this, what is then the outcome? You need to show me the outcome because it doesn't feel real. Or like, it's either like, does it feel real in real life or does it feel real to you? I mean, granted, you know, there's TV magic, but it's like when the client themselves are people who want to be authentic, say that they're authentic. I'm the person who keeps the authenticity in check, always.
It's important to you.
It's important. It's important for people. And that's the thing. It is important to me, yes. But it is important for people to have real. This is why you do what you do. Let's turn this. Like, here we go. Dr. Jennifer Malfi, I'm about to psychoanalyze this thing. This is why you do what you do. You do what you do to have authentic, real conversations with people. You sit for 8 minutes and stare at them and don't know them. You don't know anything about them except for maybe a quick Google search, right? You don't let them sell anything.
How do you do that?
Okay, so exactly. You don't let them sell anything. You don't prepare any questions that are literally catered to them. You're asking, if you ask questions, you're asking a standard deck of questions. And as the conversation is happening, you're thinking of things to ask based on what is being said. So you do what you do. We're having a conversation. So it's not staged. It's not fake. It's not scripted. You live for this. This is what you do, Jason. So it's like that same thing is for me. It's like people love authentic interaction. Anything I can do to push authenticity, it's actually making me write new language for my website in my head right now. I'm like, yeah, anything I can do to push authenticity, we're doing it.
All right. So that's that. So that makes the connection then why you do the Instagram story thing, why you post on Instagram regularly. Not only is it the benefit is, and the results are that it builds your business, but the prior to that, it enables you to connect with people using using a technology and a platform
Right.
that gives them a glimpse, almost like they're in that moment with you, and you share your life
Yeah.
with all these people who are longing for some sort of connection.
People need connection. And I think even more now, like being in the situation that we're in, I wouldn't dare say the word out loud or the words out loud, but dealing with the C word, being in a P word, like people are not connecting. Like we're so disconnected. We're not being social. We're socially distanced, in some places by law. And then in real life, just like you should be, that kind of thing. So it's like being so disconnected, people are looking for real human interaction. So I think that right now, if you want like an expert opinion, which I didn't know how we got here, but we did. If you want an expert opinion, like right now is the best time to flourish and be your authentic self on the internet, because people are looking for real people on the internet.
Do you think that's true, that people want reality?
I think now, yeah. I think that
they want a caricature of reality that makes them feel entertained.
No, I think we are in a place where people want to know truth, because even when you start looking at there are like people who have built whole careers on exposing the truth about people, exposing the truth about celebrities. There are blogs and stuff that expose the truth about these influencers. Somebody told me today about an influencer who sells spices that she supposedly like makes and dries her own herbs and grinds her own this and that, and come to find out she's actually getting them from Alibaba. So anybody can go buy them, but she does these like she's huge influencer. She does these flash sales, and like you're like fighting to. I'm literally going to look for her, but I'm not gonna tell you who it is. But not here. But it's like you're literally fighting when there's a flash sale to get this stuff. Come to find out, girl is buying this stuff from Alibaba at 1/10 of the price she is charging you, and you can order it yourself. People are so angry. She's losing followers by the second. I mean, so people do want authenticity and reality.
I was doing some business consulting with a person, sort of similar situation, several years ago. Runs a little owns a retail shop, and it has a particular way of selling. And she's going to, we're looking at her products, and said, just level. I said, you make it seem like you travel around the country, you make you find all these things, you make them all special. And I was like, this isn't my first rodeo. I know you buy this shit from China and you put it on a pallet and it to your doorstop, and then you stage it and you make it look like it's homemade. It's not. I know that. You could go down to Hobby Lobby and buy it for probably half the price, but it doesn't have the mystique. I said, so if we're going to work together, you just got to cut the bullshit. and she seemed offended that I called her out on it. But it's true. I mean, it's true. It just like the spices thing. It's like, yeah, okay, you're a peddler of a brand, and you're sourcing this stuff from some place. You're not out there actually grinding spices. Not that you couldn't, you could, but who would want to?
And there's no shame in it, but people want the truth. Yeah. So even when you look at reality television isn't as popular as docuseries are right now. Docuseries are trumping, trash reality TV. I'll say that. Not like reality TV like HGTV Home Renovations and stuff like that. But I mean Real Housewives of Atlanta, real docuseries. Tiger King killed, Real Housewives series. It's like no one was thinking about that. I see more people talking about what is happening on Netflix than what's happening on Bravo, WeTV, ETV. Even the fact that after 13 or 15 years or whatever, Keeping Up with the Kardashians is gone. There's a reason why. It's not just that they don't want to suddenly be private about their lives. They are attention whores. So it's not that. It's the fact that no one cares. We want to see the truth. The truth is, Kim, you're getting divorced. You're in the middle of a messy divorce. The truth is, Chloe, your ex-husband was on drugs. The truth is, we want the truth, not what you want to paint for us. I think we are moving into, an era and a time where people really want truth and not facade.
Do you think that movement is because of the pendulum swinging too far over? Or is it just that we are is it that there's a certain group of people who are now gravitating towards some of this social media that were never on it before? So the first mover, I think, on a social media on social media is somebody who wants and needs attention. They feel like they're not getting enough attention for themselves, so they go grab some of yours and then as like in any industry, there's a maturation of the industry where now it's like, now your grandmother's heard about it. Well, now that the masses are on there, the masses never wanted the caricature anyhow. They wanted something more firm, more stable, because they can see through all the nonsense. And they're like, I don't got time for your nonsense. Is it simply that we're coming back to the average when the first mover was just so far over? It was the people who are like, I got to put myself out there, and I want to be an influencer. That whole influencer movement seems to be coming back because it holds no water at all, none at all. You have no experience, and you got a massive microphone.
I think that what you're saying is true. I think there's that coupled with, we have watched the rise and fall of the scammer. We were in a time period, I mean, over the last probably like 5 or so years, where we have watched people be phonies, like your girl who's buying stuff from China, and like the other girl with the spices and the whatnot. Like, we've watched those people, we've seen those people. That's part of it. I think also another part of it that's interesting is like real celebrities, not influencers, are being more authentic, and you're seeing just more of them. You go from a person like Chrissy Teigen, who had a whole miscarriage on the internet, basically. Right after it happened, she's on there talking about it. And there's some people who are like, oh, it's just too much information. There are some people like, thank you for being relatable because I had the same experience. So I think that, like, with the pendulum swing, there's also the factors of, we've seen the rise and fall of the scammer. We now have celebrities who are, being a little more like a little more real. Like, I mean, you're never going to get the real, but like there are quite a few celebrities who are being just more authentic and more honest and more open. And I think that that's why we're seeing what we're seeing now.
I just saw a video from Matthew McConaughey. Apparently he just got on YouTube, and I think he has 370,000 subscribers or something around there after a couple of weeks online. And his first video, I think, was probably a minute and a half, 2 minutes long. Just a kind of it was poetry, and I wasn't sure if I was watching the real Matthew McConaughey or I was watching a commercial, or if the two are the same. And I admit, it was like, is this him all the time? Does he always sound like that? Like, if we were just making dinner one night, at his house, is he like, who is this? And I wondered, is this real or is this not real? And I have no idea, none at all. And I'm not judging one way or another. I was just curious. Is it real? And so this idea, you put yourself out there online. Okay, you're a celebrity. Are you being real? I have no idea. I legit have no idea.
Your curiosity is exactly why this conversation is necessary.
Okay.
You were wondering.
Oh, yeah. You
didn't watch it and say, oh, it's Matthew McConaughey, whatever. You watched and said, now who's the real you?
Yeah.
Is this the real you? Not that I care, like, not that I'm judging. If this is the real you, cool. I happen to bump into you, we hang out, and you're talking to me like this. Cool, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I want to know, even if it's not a good or bad judgment, even if there's no judgment on the other side of the knowledge, right? You're curious enough. Now, the celebrities doing YouTube thing is a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
Because of the C word, and we are now at the P word, celebrities are trying to get onto the digital side of things. So what's happening really is, like, digital creators want to do traditional media, and people who do traditional media want to come into digital. So you're seeing that a lot. There was a woman who was in the Avengers. Don't ask me because I don't know. But anyway, she asked one of my clients to do an interview with her because she started a YouTube channel. It's like, you have like all these awards for what you've done, and like you're starting a YouTube channel. I don't know. You know, it's like, so that's a whole different conversation. But
Yeah.
the fact that you wondered is proof that like authenticity matters. Whether you have a judgment on it or not, it matters.
Right. No, I agree with you. So we've got this guy who comes on to on Twitch, and I'm just going to pop some of his comments up here. Thanks for watching, by the way, my friend here on Twitch.
Oh, hey, we're not ignoring you. I was just talking.
Yeah, so he's been coming on recently, and clearly, you know, Kendra, where'd you get next fun really suits you.
Thank you. This is
complimented you.
This is a Canadian designer called Bico. They're based in Canada, and I love their stuff.
And then also, hey, did you know that you can actually order this shirt? You can order this shirt go to coffeewithhumans.com. There's a little shop button at the upper top there. You can order a shirt. You can order a mug. It has no coffee in it because it's hard to ship coffee in a mug. Fun fact. Just keeping it real, Kendra. You can't ship coffee in a mug.
Can you ship Fresca in a mug?
No, it bounces around and then it gets all messed everywhere. It fizzes. And then it's flat. And you don't want flat Fresca. Just putting it out there.
No, we need all the carbonation.
Nobody can take a compliment these days, which I think that's very prescient. It's yeah, nobody can take a compliment these days. I think compliments have even become misconstrued. You know, like hey, thanks. I think it's a great shirt. I like it. It's fun, and yeah, that's a nice necklace.
Thank you.
Okay. Doesn't have to mean more than that. So great, people can take compliments. So I think even real conversations, I think people are maybe afraid of having real conversations in this new day and age, because we want real connection, and yet we're sort of afraid we're afraid to have that real connection. So we kind of hide sometimes, I think, behind the screens. And then when we do feel a real connection, we're apprehensive.
I mean, it's human nature to protect yourself.
Yeah.
It's human nature to want to defend yourself. Mm-hmm. So it's like, yeah, I want to, you know, I want to have authentic relationships, but I'm not willing to play tit for tat. I'm not willing to give a little tip for a little tat. You know what I'm saying? So it's like people don't want to play that game. They want to protect themselves. That's why people want to fill you out first. They want to know who you are first, which is why it's like, you know, I know authenticity can be hard for people, and I know being real can be hard for people. I've just resolved to be honest and let the chips fall where they may. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be me, and like it allows you to make a decision. And I'm not afraid of being vulnerable and being hurt or being whatever the case may be. Like, it's a risk I'm willing to take.
Yeah.
To meet people and to know people.
What brought you to that point? Was there a particular event, or was there a path that brought you to this point where you're like, screw it, I'm just going to be me?
I had been phony for so long.
Yeah.
I was being who I thought people wanted me to be for a long time. I grew up like that. You know, my early 20s, that was kind of like that. And, you know, a part of my own like spiritual awakening, like really understanding who God made me to be, made it easy to be myself. Because it's like, if I understand my God-given purpose, mm-hmm. a facade of me cannot fulfill that purpose.
Okay.
Because God knows my truth. So God designed the purpose for me based on who I really am, not who I pretend to be. So God can't bless the person I pretend to be. God can't direct the person I pretend to be. He can't guide the person I pretend to be. Everything that he has for me, good, bad, ugly, and different, is built for my truth. So I had to start standing in my truth in order to tap in and access the parts of me that needed to be revealed so I could be who I'm supposed to be, so I could walk in my purpose. And it wasn't until I really started being real that it was like, oh, I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I get it. I know my purpose. I understand.
And I know something about your business. You have it on your website, actually, that you do prayer meetings with people.
My clients get prayer. We praying.
Okay, so how does that work?
What do you mean?
Context? Under what context? I mean, you're a social media guru. I'm going to call you guru.
Thank you.
You'll take it, right? So you help your clients and you help people in general discover or get to the heart of what their communication should be, and you can help fulfill some of that stuff too. And then you overlay this spiritual component onto it, which is some people stay away from that. Not universally, but it's one of those things where it's like, don't say it. Like, you're not using the C word, you're not using the P word, and a lot of people won't use the S word. So, or the G word, whatever you want to call it. What's that process look like for you when you work with other folks, or when you encounter them? I mean, you're pretty open and honest with me. This is our second chat.
So above all else, I'm a business expert. I wouldn't say I'm a social media guru. I'm a business expert. And I understand in 2021, 2020, 2021, 2019, 2022, 2025, I will still understand what you have to do in order to scale. You cannot scale and not be digitally present. So my experience and my guruship there comes from the fact that I understand you can't grow in this age without being that person online. So I think about that and I'm like, okay, how have I gotten to where I've gotten to? I'm 33 years old. Last year, my business made 7 figures in 7 months. We closed out the year at almost $2 million in the first year. Started that business in January. People want to know, what is the secret sauce? There's a couple of factors here. One of them is authenticity. One of them is the fact that I have a degree in business. I've been an entrepreneur for 10 years. I'm a business expert. I understand business. But the overarching thing is, I don't believe I am the end all be all. Thank you. I don't believe I'm the end all be all. There is something bigger than me. So it's funny because a lot of my clients are science communicators. So it's like, how do you get a science communicator to pray?
Okay.
You don't necessarily get a science communicator to pray. You get a science communicator to believe, affirm, and get on one accord with you about the future. So for some of my clients, it is just literally like, we wake up in the morning, we go on the phone, you ready? Okay, Lord, thank you for today, do this, amen. All right, have a great day. For clients that don't have a faith system or have a spiritual system, I mean, that's a real thing. Like, the number one thing is, when you hire me, you have to understand who I am and where I'm coming from. And in order for me to get you the kind of results, we need to get on the same page with something. The universe, whatever y'all want to call it, cool. God, I need to get on the same page with you. So I remember the very first science client I signed. I was like, Lord, what do you want me to do? Because it's easy to get a person who has some kind of faith base, whether it's mine or not, some kind of spiritual base. It's easy to get them to sit down with me and meditate or pray or whatever. What do I do with a person who does not have that system, who does not have that at their core? And God, literally, I heard so clearly, I will tell you what to say. And I was like, okay. I get on the meeting and I literally go, okay, we're going to speak some affirmations as a team. Okay, there's going to be 4 affirmations. Now, I'm making this up. I mean, it's just coming to me. It's like, I had never heard this. I've never seen this. This will be the first time I think I've ever said it out loud publicly, like what I do or what my affirmation system is. But it was like, okay, this is what we're going to do. There are going to be 4 things we're going to do. We're going to do a today will, this week will, we will, I will. And here's why. Today will is going to make you think presently. What's happening today? This week will is going to keep you future focused. We will brings us into a team. I will brings us accountability. And literally, they were like, okay. And just like that. Now, little do they know at that time, little did they know at the time, they're touching and agreeing with me about what is the future every single week. We are touching and agreeing. What is this week going to be? What will we accomplish? What will we do? What kind of energy will we have? What will we, get done? What's going to happen with us? There was a week, maybe 4 or 5 weeks into this system, where I said, this week will be miraculous. Now, do miracles exist in the science realm? I don't think they can be explained. That's why it's not science. So I said, this week's going to be miraculous. And they were like, okay, yeah, this week will be full of positive, good news. Great. By the end of that week, they had a major deal that they wanted to close, a 6-figure deal close. I had a major deal close, and they got on the phone with me and they said, we don't know what kind of sixth sense thing you have going on, but we believe it. So that's just the method. If I touch base with a client and they are spiritually minded already, it's easy to say, hey, let's get on the same page. And if they're not spiritually minded, we start there. I have another science client that we started off with the affirmations. I went to go meet with them in person, broke down their whole life, and now we out here praying. And they literally say, I didn't believe God existed, but Kendra, you're making me believe. Well, business evangelist, whatever you want to call it, so.
I like that. I like business evangelist. That's pretty good. Well, I think, I don't know if we talked about this before, but the part of the thought behind Coffee with Humans, everybody's like, why did you choose that? I was like, it just came to me, Coffee with Humans. And I've done a lot of brand work, kind of, getting to the nut of something for a long time. And so it's just, some of this stuff just flows, like the stuff for you. It just flows. It's just part of who you are. And when you open your mouth, it comes out and you're like, hey, where'd that come from? Well, it's been part of you this whole time. It's part of your identity. So the human part of it, though, in this Coffee with Humans thing, was that if we take away the facade that a lot of us communicate with, that unreal part of us, the fake part, and if I term it, it's the callus that builds up, right, over time. You're just using your foot, the callus gets built up on it. You got to take care of it, and the callus can come off. If you take that callus off, we're just human. The real raw part of us is we're all very similar. Mm-hmm. We have similar hopes, similar needs, similar desires and fears, and if we can get to that, we can do anything. Mm-hmm. And that moves me into, we have three particular things that we can do as people that nothing else in creation can do. The first thing is to name our present reality and name a different future. Nothing else names its reality or names their future, it just exists in its space. The second thing we can do, that second great power and responsibility I think we have, is to create things that move us to that future. And then the third thing is to destroy things that no longer serve us. The things that got, that book, what got you here won't get you there. Well, we can create something, and sometimes we need to leave something behind to move us into whatever it is that we named. And those three particular energies or powers, responsibilities, or authorities that we have over, I think, all of this world is unique to us, unique to humans, and we all carry it around. And so it is sort of no wonder that as we move forward with this creative energy, I think a God-given energy and responsibility and authority, the world and the universe sort of bend themselves around us, and all of a sudden we've done something. And sometimes we do great things. Sometimes we do boneheaded things, and and stupid things out of ignorance or maliciousness. But we all walk around with this naming ability to name, create, and destroy. And I think that's what you kind of lay into that space with your clients. You say, hey, we're gonna call out what we're looking for this week, and then we're gonna expect it to happen, because we're gonna go about creating that. And it's not that the what was I thinking? It's not that we even have to have the same foundation to work from, I think. Right. It's that we all feel that sort of calling in us. You might use a different term than I might use, but at the end of the day, we will come to some sort of agreement that we have a responsibility and an authority to do something about our present reality. Yep. That is universal. Yep. Because even take the COVID thing. If you come at it from purely a scientific or not anti-religion, but devoid of religion aspect of it, then it's survival of the fittest. Sorry, it took the non-fit out. I don't know what we're complaining about. This is what you said happens. This is what you said is normal. but you don't actually believe that. You really do want to believe that it's our responsibility to do something with this terrible stuff. Okay, why? That's the next question. Why would it be? Because we care. Why do you care? Right? And we get down to the nut of that. We get down to the end of that. And boy, we are so similar, even from completely different socioeconomic backgrounds, different cultural backgrounds. Boy, that heartbeat in all of us is so much the same.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, my science clients and I see eye to eye completely on COVID, on vaccines, on all those kind of things for different reasons.
Yeah.
For completely different reasons. But we get down to it and it's like, it matters. There is a part of you that is human enough, even as a scientist, to have compassion.
Yeah.
And that's sure. It's innately human. Yeah. It's innately human. You know, and no matter what you're calling it, like people would call what I do, you know, manifesting or, you know, whatever the case may be. It's like there is some small belief in every single person that there is a future. What does that future look like? Whether a person ever articulates it, talks about it, goes to therapy, whatever. When people lay down in their bed, even if they're just thinking about tomorrow.
Yeah, I love that. The simplicity behind that, you know, we all agree that there's a future and we'd like to see it. So therefore, what kind of you want to have?
Even if it's just tomorrow, you go to bed, it is Thursday night. So Thursday night, you might stay up all night and you might have a whole bottle of wine because you're saying tomorrow is Friday. And on Friday, I don't have any meetings. So I'm going to be able to sleep in. You are predicting your future right there. And people just don't realize they do it all the time. No matter what your beliefs are, you could be agnostic, you can be an atheist, it doesn't matter. You are somehow convinced that there is a future and that you are seeing yourself in it.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Now, however you get there is your business, but everybody does it. There's not a single person who does not think about the next day. No matter how bad your life is, no matter how negative of a person you are thinking about, I'm going to bed tomorrow. I hope I wake up dead. You are wishing for tomorrow and you are predicting what tomorrow might be.
That flies in the face a little bit of the last two conversations I had, which is live in the moment and just accept what is, go with what is, and make a decision for now because the future is not guaranteed. And it seems that those thoughts, I'd like to hear your thought on how do you reconcile those two things, living in the present and thinking about manifesting the future.
One word, hope. You have a hope for tomorrow. There's no guarantee for tomorrow. You have a hope. So you had better live your best life presently because the hope for tomorrow may be futile. But you hope that there's a tomorrow. And in that tomorrow, what does that tomorrow look like? You hope you will see the end of this year. And if so, what do you want to get done by the end of the year? But the fact of the matter is I need to presently be experiencing, grateful for my home, grateful for, I have, I think 5 dozen white roses in my house right now, 6 dozen white roses in my house. Love roses. I am grateful presently for this. But I know that next week I'm going to get more roses. So, you know, it's like there's a hope for me that next week exists for me, that I'm alive to see next week, and that I can get roses from wherever they are coming from Trader Joe's, from Colombia, from wherever. You know, there's a hope there. So I'm presently, grateful and expressing gratitude and living presently in what it is. Tomorrow, I have a ticket to go on a vacation. I hope I make it to tomorrow because I need a break. But the fact of the matter is I'm happy and very content right here sitting in my home in Atlanta.
Yeah. Well, that's John Maxwell says that you show me your day today and I'll tell you what your year is going to be. And that's pretty true, right? Whatever we do in this moment sets the pace for whatever we're going to get accomplished in this, or who we will be in a week, in a month, in a year. It's all based on today. So I think those two thoughts do go hand in hand. That live for today because that's what you've got, but hope for tomorrow, and the two I think have a I don't want to say magical way, but they do have a mysterious way, sometimes miraculous way of creating of creating something that we wanted, and maybe sometimes creating something more than we wanted.
Love John Maxwell. Have all of his books literally sitting over here. Someone I love more than John Maxwell is Rick Ross. Rick Ross said in an interview, he said, I don't care how long it takes to get there. If we decided today, if it's a year from now, we see it, 10 years from now, today is the day we start working at it. And so that's the thing. It's like there is a future plan in your mind, whether you ever share it or not. Once you decide that you're going to do it, that day is your first day to start doing it, to get there. So,
yeah. Well, Kendra, we're up at our time for Coffee with Humans. A great conversation. Thank you so much for joining me. For all the viewers and listeners, Coffee with Humans is a candid live conversation with a stranger who becomes a friend, making the world a better place. And you can catch us on YouTube. Subscribe, click the button to subscribe, share it out with your friends, and catch Kendra. What's your website address again?
It's KendraScaleMyBusiness.com.
KendraScaleMyBusiness.com. Yep. Hit her up over there. Super cool lady. Thanks so much for joining me. And I will see everybody again, probably Saturday, I think, at Coffee with Humans.
One of the things I love about Coffee with Humans are the raw conversations I get to have, meeting new people just like you. If you or someone you know should be on Coffee with Humans, go to coffeewithhumans.com. Remember, the only rule is no sales calls.
This has been Coffee with Humans. Subscribe to get updates or click to have coffee with me. coffeewithhumans.com.